Welcome back to the Northbridge Flute Academy, and today we're looking at Albert Roussel, Monsieur de la Péjaudie. And this is an adorable little vignette of a piece. It's so cute in many ways. Monsieur de la Péjaudie, a fictional character, and I kind of imagine him as being sort of a little whimsical, a little nonchalant, possibly a little arrogant. I can see him with a tall top hat and walking along the street with a very ornate cane. A man who in many ways doesn't really have that many cares in the world. So there is plenty for us to explore musically in this. And even the opening statements, this. Weaving around with semitone half-step manoeuvres. There's something sort of slightly cheeky, slightly I don't care going on here. But there's also plenty of technical stuff to keep us occupied. In bar 8, for example, we've got demi-semiquavers or 30-second notes. Don't hurry these. Again, when we see all those lines, the beams underneath the notes, we tend to go through like an express train. The secret is to start this run of 8 notes slowly, let it tumble. I feel in this case it should almost sound like a sort of nonchalant sigh. The next bar, bar 9, we've got quite an awkward little sextuplet, and it's 6 notes up. And the way it looks like 3 groups of 2, yada da dee da da dum. But I would suggest if you find a problem playing that because it's that finger we're operating and we don't like using that finger, think of it as 2 groups of 3, and that will help get you through that bit. And I think in many ways it flows slightly better. Again, in this bar and in the subsequent bar, there's a lot of chromaticism. Bar 10 has a long sustained mezzo forte, D flat 2, the one on the stave, and there's a danger with this note on all flutes that it's going to be sharp. So be careful we don't get. I always feel, again, we have to hear a D flat or C sharp. We have to hear it in here before we release it into the wild. So be very careful about that. Moving on from that, bar 13, a similar melody from the very opening melody comes back, but it's very different time. Here's the first melody. And there's something, I think, almost uncertain in that melodic line. When it comes back in bar 13, it's much more positive. Very, very different atmosphere. It's also marked pianissimo, so try to do something different there. In bar 15, Monsieur de la Péjaudie's character starts to change quite dramatically because he's thinking about something. I'm not quite sure exactly what he's thinking about, but it's occupying his thoughts. So we get this motif. So we've got the same motif 3 bars running. And then bar 18, there are 2 beats of swift chromaticism, as though he's confused. We've got this. And that to me really does smack of total confusion. But then bar 19, he suddenly realizes what it is he's thinking about. and he's sort of back into his wavelengths again. Bar 21, we're marked forte here. It's low down, and it's the first three notes of the bar are articulated. And I think they have stress marks underneath them. As a result of that, they need to be heavy. So don't play again, direction is king here. As long as you can actually let people's ears know where you're going with that articulation, that'll be very important. The third beat of bar 27 starts on a low C, and the next 2 to 3 bars, I think, are perhaps the darkest moments in this piece, where I think for once he's actually bothered by something. And that depth of sound is necessary in the bottom octave here. Of course, with Monsieur de la Péjaudie, it doesn't last very long, because 3 bars later, he's sort of working it all through. So in bar 30, he suddenly starts getting the answers to the meaning of life, and he starts getting happy again. And this follows through from bar 30 through to bar 33. And it's quite busy here, but it also says en retenant, holding back. So you can afford to really pull the tempo back here. There are many, many notes between bar 31 and bar 33, so use the en retenant as an excuse to hold everything back. And then in bar 34, he suddenly says to himself, you know, what's the point in worrying about these things? And in bar 36, the opening melody returns, and between there and the end of the piece, I just see Monsieur de la Péjaudie disappearing into the distance with his cane and his hat and a very big smile on his face. One final thing, the last note is a C above the stave with an O above it. It's a harmonic. And I would suggest that you use the fingering for F for this, because the piece is in F major. And that will actually send Monsieur de la Péjaudie into the distance in a more attractive way.